G'day guys, it's John from Honeybee Acres again, and now we've got another episode of our, what we have been calling Animals of Honeybee Acres, but we're now going to call it Wildlife of Honeybee Acres. So in this one we've got a heap of wallabies. They're doing their thing in front of the trail cam, and we've got some echidnas, we've got some foxes, feral foxes, which it's interesting to see them, to see where they are and what they're doing around the place, and we've got some little birds as well. So we'll get straight into it. So here we just have a little echidna. You can see on the right of the screen, just looks like its butt, its rear end. Must be scratching at something there, looking for some ants or termites to eat. And it disappears from screen for a little while. In a second. And it'll be back soon. And you just see its little face pop in. So that's just basically its mouth that you can see there sticking out. And here's a fox. We have a few feral foxes around the place. And not really ones we want to see, because they do eat chickens and baby lambs and stuff. Yes, that was a wallaby's ear. He'll pop better into shot. Or she, I think it's a she actually. And by the look of some shots a little bit later on, it's a female wallaby with perhaps a joey in its pouch. And it's just looking down into this wombat burrow here. A bit curious about what's going on. And it even heads down into the burrow for a bit of a closer look. It's not where they normally stay. Must be something in there that it wasn't that keen on, but not scared enough to, or now it's scared enough to hop out. And then the wallaby will be back soon. Here it is. It just goes down, has a little look inside. And then hops out of the burrow, must be eating some grass or something there, sniffing around for something to eat. And wallabies, you don't see them very often with other wallabies. They're very solitary animals, which I've sort of mentioned before. There it is eating some grass. And despite the look, there's a lot more grass around this burrow that you can see here. It doesn't really come out in the video very well, but there's quite a bit. Right, this was actually a few days later. It was a day or two later. And I'm pretty sure this is a different wallaby. It looks a bit smaller than the other one. It just hops out of shot for a little while. And there it hops back across the shot again. The wallabies seem to like it near this burrow here. You seem to get them a fair bit, and a little bird just flies in looking for insects, flies out again. And here's the wallaby back again. So this, I'm pretty sure this one's a female. You sort of see between its legs, its pouch is very bulged. So there would more than likely be a joey in its pouch there. So that's mum, might be a joey that's not far from emerging by the size of it. May even be just big enough to just start emerging from the pouch just for short times, just to start exercising its legs a bit. But they when they're born from the female's cloaca, they crawl up into the pouch. They're tiny little things about the size of a jelly bean, and they latch onto a teat in the pouch, and they grow until they're big enough to start coming out. But even then they go in and out. You see it's here, it's eating something in the ground there. And they'll chew on leaves and stuff on the ground. And I've even seen them, videos of them eating fungi, so mushrooms and stuff like that. So they eat all sorts of things, all plant-based food. They're not carnivores by any means, but yeah, they don't just eat grass. They'll eat leaves and shrubs and stuff as well. So this one's also having a look in the burrow. And it's hard to tell if they're different or not. Sometimes wombats you can tell them apart, especially males, because they'll have individual scars from fighting with other males. Sometimes they have little nicks out of their ears. Sometimes they have particular individual or unique scars on them, on their body somewhere. But wallaby's a bit harder. So there it is there, another one. And they are pretty curious creatures. Generally when we see kangaroos around the place here, as soon as they see you, they hop away. But wallabies tend to hang around a bit and watch what you're doing. So they are fairly timid, but they are also curious enough to hang around until you get too close to them that they're not comfortable with you anymore. But they hang around a lot more than kangaroos do. Here it is, still at the burrow here. So this again was a couple of days later after the second one that we saw. But I think this is the same wallaby. Pretty sure it's the same wallaby. And she's just looking around. Maybe she heard a noise of something. Could have even just been a branch dropping in the forest here. And again, this is the same day, same wallaby. Still having a look in the burrow. And they seem to be pretty curious about this burrow. They like I say, they do hang around it a lot. I wonder what it is about the burrow. Is it a smell? Are they just curious to know what's in there? So it's a different night. This is a night a couple of days later. The wallaby's having a sniff of the camera, getting nice up and close. And the wallaby's just hanging around just below the camera at the moment. And that's in now for something different. We've got, could be the same echidna as last time, maybe a different one. It's just having a little wander around. Now this was in March. And yeah, it was not unusual to see him about, but probably a little bit unusual to see him around at night, because they wouldn't normally be around at night. So yeah, this was late February, early March. This one was from, and it would have been still warm during the days, but the nights were getting pretty cold by then. And I thought it would have snuggled up somewhere by now. And here's a wallaby again. Like I say, the wallabies feature a fair bit in this video, and it's just hanging around just to the left of the camera there. I don't know what it's doing, we can't see it, but I'm guessing it's probably preening itself by the way it sort of pops in. It's not crouched down, it might be just having a scratch. Now it hops in front, having again a look in the burrow, and then hops along, keeps going, and here it is, the same one. This is the same day, probably the same wallaby. Again, it's probably just grazing, or it might be having a scratch or something. You see it stands up, so the way it was crouched down then, probably grazing. Sometimes I wish there were better trees for me to put here. I'd like to get a better tree that gave me a bit of a wider shot, but if I move it back to a different tree, the tree it's on is going to be right in the way. It's a bit hard to position it better. But this wallaby's just hanging around, having a look around, bit of a feed on what's around, of the grass and leaves and stuff. Right, next up we've got a little bird. Now these birds, it'll fly back in again, but they're little insectivorous birds. They often scratch around the leaf litter in the forest, picking up bugs and that sort of thing. And you also see them on shrubs and stuff, getting insects out of shrubs. It'll fly in again and just hang for a second on the right hand side of the burrow. There it is there. They're a very, very restless little bird. They don't stay in one place for very long. And there it is again, and it flies off. Here we are with another fox sniffing around a wombat burrow. You wouldn't want to go down there if there's a wombat in there. The wombat will definitely make it think twice about going in there again. They might seem like slow, docile creatures, but wombats, when they're threatened, they can defend themselves. There's no problem with that. Got another wallaby again sniffing around. Like I said, they love hanging around near this wombat burrow. I'd love to know what it is that they like about it. And it wouldn't just be the grass. There is lots of grass in the forest, so it's not necessarily that. There just must be one of those places where they like to gather or like to go to regularly. And this was the same day. Same wallaby, just hops out a shot a bit. And this is the same day, same wallaby, just chewing on some grass or leaves or something by the sides. A bit hard to see what it's eating in this video. And yeah, they eat a fair bit. The native grasses in Australia aren't terribly nutritious, but that's what their gut is designed to digest, so they get as much nutrition as they can out of it. Often the really green grass that people would have in their lawns and stuff, it's a bit too rich for them. They wouldn't really like it. If they had a little bit and slowly build up, they can get used to it, but generally they like the native grasses. They're a bit better designed, or their stomachs are better designed for the native grasses. You see it's having a bit of a sniff around the burrow. And I like these wallabies. They're quite a pretty wallaby. That was chewing on a bit of a leaf then. And then it hops away. And then we're back on another day where the wallabies are back, or the wallaby is back. Very soon there's a wallaby, and that's a different one. It hasn't got the red on its face that the previous one had. I actually thought it was a kangaroo, but it hasn't quite got the shape of a kangaroo in its head. And it's having a look down into the burrow. Yeah, it'd be interesting to find out what it is about this burrow. If only we could ask them what they like about the burrow, and then we'd know. Yeah, it's having a bit of a look and a sniff around. And they always look up again. They're always looking for danger, just in case. You can see here, if you look at the back there, it looks like the pouch is quite full. So this would be a female again with a joey in the pouch. And they actually take care of their young for quite a while. It's sort of almost a year that they look after their babies. And again, it's the same day. It's the wallaby just still looking in the burrow. Looks around again one more time into the burrow. Decides that's enough. I'm out of here. This is getting a bit boring. It's not as interesting as it thought it would maybe. As it thought it was maybe. And that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed that, and we've got a lot more stuff coming. We've got a couple of months worth of videos to get through, and we're picking out what I think is interesting stuff of that. Like and subscribe. It's the best way to help us, and it helps that YouTube put the videos out to more people who want to see them. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you next time. Bye.